Hey, what's up guys? This is DarkArmedDuelist and I'm going to be doing a Kuriboh deck profile. So I'm really excited for this one because this is a deck that actually got the most views on my entire channel the fastest. This deck is now my second most viewed deck profile of all time, and within like 2 weeks it got almost like 40,000 views, which is insane. So let's do that all over again and definitely check out this deck. I'm super excited for this because you guys asked me to regularly update this deck, so I have done some changes to the deck and I'm really excited for you guys to see this. So without further ado guys, let's get straight on this. Before we do, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell next to become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down below because we have some really cool rewards for you guys, like getting a signed card, getting your name description of every single video, or even getting to request a deck profile just like this one every single month. So let's get straight on into this, guys. So first off, we're going to be going into the main deck. So for the main deck, we're playing 3 Kuribohs. You got to play 3 Kuribohs. Kuriboh basically is the original OG hand trap. During damage calculation, if an opponent's monster attacks, you can quick effect discard this card, and you take no battle damage from that battle, which is a really cool effect, and it's basically the most iconic card in all of It's one of the most iconic cards in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! Anybody sees this and they go, oh, that's Kuriboh. They know it. Then we play 3 copies of Wing Kuriboh. Not just Wing Kuriboh, but Winking Wing Kuriboh. Yes, we do have the winking one. But basically what this card does is if this card is on the field, is destroyed and sent to the graveyard for the rest of the turn, you take no battle damage. So you set this card and then let it get destroyed, and you can stall out your opponent a little bit. Then we play 1 copy of Winged Kuriboh level 10. Yes, we can summon this card. I have summoned it multiple times when playtesting this deck, and is ridiculously easy to summon in this deck. And when your opponent attacks into this card, it's ridiculous, and you OTK them. But basically what this card does is during your opponent's battle phase, you can quick effect tribute this card, and this face-up card destroys all monsters that are attack position your opponent controls as possible. And if you do inflict damage to your opponent, equal in the combined original attack of all those monsters. Basically, it's the effect of, why you hitting yourself? Then we play 3 copies of Kuriboh Reborn. Kuriboh Reborn is a insanely good card that at the end of the battle phase, you can discard this card and then target a monster in your graveyard that was destroy a battle and send to the graveyard this turn and special summon it. But that's not the really good effect. That sounds good, but that's not the really good effect. The really good effect of this card is that when an opponent's monster declares an attack, you can banish this card from your grave and then target any number of Kuriboh monsters in your grave and special summon them. You just get to special summon as many Kuribohs as possible from your graveyard, which is a really good effect to be able to get them all back out on the field. Then we play 2 copies of Rainbow Kuriboh. Rainbow Kuriboh is really good in here because when a opponent's monster declares an attack, you can target that attacking monster and equip this card from your hand to that monster, and then it can attack. And then also, when an opponent's monster declares a direct attack while this card's in your graveyard, you can special summon it but banish it when it leaves the field, which can protect you again. Kuriboh is all about protecting you, which is amazing. I love that Kuriboh just protects you the whole game. Then we play 2 copies of Reelin Kuriboh. Reelin Kuriboh, if it's tributed, you get to draw a card. And then also, if your monster would be destroyed by battle, you can banish this card from your graveyard instead, which actually comes in handy a lot to be able to just banish it to protect something. 1 copy of Perform Power, Kuriboh. This card's really good because when an opponent's monster declares a direct attack, you can special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, change the attack target to this card, and then proceed to damage calculation. And if you take battle damage from that battle, you gain the life points instead. So if your opponent attacks you with like a 4,000 attack point Boral Sword, you gain 3,700 because you were going to take 3,700 damage, just for example. 1 copy of Sphere Kuriboh, you just need 1 of it because when your opponent's monster declares an attack, you can send this card from your hand to the grave to change the attacking monster to defense position. You don't ritual summon this deck, so the extra effect does not really come up. 1 copy of Clear Kuriboh. When an opponent's monster activates its effect that would inflict damage to you, you can discard this card and negate the activation. And then when an opponent's monster declares a direct attack, you manage a card from your graveyard, draw a card, and if it was a monster, you can special summon it, and then change the attack target to it. I was at locals at one point. I didn't catch it on camera, unfortunately, but I went hard to the cards, drew, and hit, I think it was a Kuriboh Reborn, and special summon it, and then next turn I banished it, special summoned 5 Kuribohs, went into Avermax, and won the game. It was hilarious. This deck went in and sweeped my locals, and nobody understood why, but it was a good time, and everybody was crying laughing because they couldn't believe that Kuriboh was actually doing this. Then we play 1 copy of Chaos Emperor Dragon. Chaos Emperor Dragon is a good boss monster, and is a chaos deck essentially, so you play this card at 1. 1 copy of Blackluster Soldier. Now, I will mention you guys, you can play Chaos Dragon Levineer in this position because everything is light and dark in this deck. Like, this is light, I believe the Wing Kuriboh is light, and then the rest of them are dark, essentially, so it's really easy to go into your Chaos monsters. Now, something I didn't play in the last deck profile, but you guys really suggested to me, and I took your advice, was actually putting in a single copy of Dystopia the Despondent. Dystopia the Despondent comes up very rarely, and not as much as you guys think it would, which is surprising to me. But basically what you do is you send 4 face-up level 1 monsters you control to the graveyard, and it can be special summoned by other ways, and this card you control cannot be attacked. Other monsters you control cannot attack, and then during the player's damage step, you can, once per battle involving this card, you can banish a level 1 monster from your grave. Until the end phase of the damage step, this card is unaffected by the effects of, other card effects, and it can't be destroyed in battle. So it becomes pretty much immortal for 1 attack. And it's a 5,000 beat stick, which is amazing. And then I threw in 2 copies of Nibiru as well, because for me, it's not that big of a deal to kind of wipe my board if I don't have like Avermax, because this basically was Kuriboh Avermax Turbo, because you're summoning that card so often with Multiply. Which is really, really, really good to be able to summon Avermax off of Multiply, because Multiply is basically one of the stars of the deck with Kuriboh, which if you'll notice, Transcendent Wings combos with Wing Kuriboh and then Multiply combos with this, so it's really easy to pull off a lot of combos in this deck. So that's it for the monsters, guys, or the Kuribohs. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're playing 3 copies of Super Polymerization. Super Polymerization is crazy in this deck because going into Starving Venom is hilarious. 3 copies of Call by the Grave. Call by the Grave just basically stops our opponent from doing hand traps while we're trying to go off with our Kuribohs. Foolish Burial because it gets Kuriboh Reborn to the graveyard. 1 for 1 because your entire deck is level 1, so why wouldn't you play this? 1 copy of Detonate. Detonate's good because it lets you destroy as many Kuriboh or Kuriboh tokens you control as possible, and then destroy cards your opponent controls up to the number destroyed by this effect. So you can destroy 1, you can destroy 3, you can destroy 4, it doesn't matter. But you're popping cards on your opponent's side of the field, which is the important factor of this card, which is really, really helpful. Then we play 3 copies of Transcendent Wings. Transcendent Wings is super good in this deck. You guys would look at this card and go, wow, that's a -3 to activate this effect. But when your opponent's attacking into you and you flip this and you summon Wing Kuriboh level 10 and then they OTK themselves, it's worth it. But basically what this card does is you send a face-up or face-down Wing Kuriboh you control and 2 cards from your hand to the graveyard to special summon a Wing Kuriboh level 10 from your hand or deck. You don't have to have it in your hand. You just have to have Transcendent Wings and a Wing Kuriboh and 2 cards in your hand. Yes, it is a -3 to summon your Wing Kuriboh level 10, but it is so worth it to OTK. If you think about it, Boral Sword is just the same. It's a -3. You're putting 4 monsters into it to get 1 card out of it. Is the same thing as Ling 4, but it's OTKs, so that's why you play this card. Then we play 3 copies of Flute of Summoning Kuriboh. Flute of Summoning Kuriboh lets you take a Kuriboh or a Wing Kuriboh and either add it to your hand or special summon it to your side of the field, which is really good. 3 copies of Multiply as well. Multiply lets you tribute a Kuriboh and then special summon as many Kuriboh tokens as possible, which can be as many as like 5, and then you use them as link materials, because it doesn't say that you can't link the turn you activate this effect. It just says you can't tribute summon. I will mention to you guys, the only card that you can actually tribute with this is not any of the other Kuribohs. It has to be the original Kuriboh. That's something to keep in mind. But the 3 multiplies, you always want to open Multiply plus Kuriboh. It wins games. It ends games because it goes into link material. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the extra deck because we don't play any traps in here. So for the extra deck, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Link Kuriboh. You guys are probably looking at this and going, whoa, that's a lot of Link Kuriboh. We only ever play 1. Not in a Kuriboh deck. You will summon this card every single turn, and you will summon multiples of it every single turn. I have ended a turn with 2 of these to 3 of these on the field, with different Link monsters on the field really easily because it just requires a level 1 monster. And then when it's attacked into, you just essentially reduce the opponent's monster's attack to 0 for the end of the turn. And then you can tribute a level 1 to special summon it back, which is really good, but you can only activate its effect once per turn to tribute summon it. Which is pretty good. Then we play 1 copy of Relinquished Anima, which is a new card to this deck, but basically lets you gobble up opponent's monsters just by using a level 1 monster, but you can't use a token. But if it points to a monster, you just gobble it up, which is really cool. 1 copy of Predaplant, Verte, Anaconda. You use 2 effect monsters, and it grabs Super Poly directly out of your deck, so you always have access to that Super Poly. 1 copy of Union Carrier. Now, Union Carrier comes into my combo with my Multiply quite easily, and really helps out if you don't have a Kuriboh Reborn. Because this card is really handy, because if you activate your Multiply and you use 2 of the tokens to go into this, because it just says 2 monsters with the same type and attribute, if you go into this card second with a copy of like Wee Witch, you can equip the Wee Witch with a copy of Kuriboh Reborn, and then link this and the Wee Witch together to make Avermax, and then have 1 token left to link away to go into your copy of Link Kuriboh, which is really helpful. I'll show you guys that combo at the end of the video. Then we play a single copy of Beat Cop, because you can use tokens to go into it. Wee Witch, because you can use dark monsters to go into it. Nightmare Phoenix, because it pops spells and traps. Nightmare Unicorn, because it bounces monsters. Boral Sword, because it OTKs. Avermax, because it's the true boss monster of this deck. 1 copy of Starving Venom, because you can Super Poly into it extremely easily. And then my personal attack cards, which I actually summon in this deck all the time with Master Rule 5, which is insane, is 1 copy of number 31, Embodiment of Punishment, and 1 copy of number 13, Embodiment of Crime. So these cards have the exact same effect, which is really cool, but they benefit off of having each other on the field. What they do is once per turn during either player's turn, you can detach material from this card to change all of your opponent's monsters to face-up attack. And also, all monsters your opponent can currently control must attack this turn, and if able. And then when you control number 31 or number 13, when you control both of them, they have the same effects, that they can't be destroyed by battle or by card effects while it has XYZ materials, and any damage you would have taken, your opponent takes instead. Which is really cool, because I summoned this, and my opponent had an Avermax or a Boral Sword or something, and I was like, oh, that's a cute Boral Sword. Let me hit it twice. Bump, bump, and I won. Which was fun. So that's it for the deck, guys. Let's get into the tokens that we play really quickly. For the other cards, we do play the 5 Kuriboh tokens. You gotta have the 5 Kuriboh tokens. Yes, I have that 1 extra Kuriboh token, because it's kind of like my middle token. And it kind of reminds me to go for Link Kuriboh, which is helpful when I go into my combo. So let me show you the quick combo that I'm talking about for you guys if you open up Multiply plus Kuriboh, which is the big combo of the entire deck. So what you're going to do is you're going to activate like this. You're going to normal summon your Kuriboh and then activate Multiply, send these 2 to the graveyard, and then once you do, you're going to summon out the 5 Kuriboh brothers. Yeah, there you go. I wish we get Kuriboh Babylon, just saying. And then you're going to start linking away. You're going to link 2 of them because they're dark to the graveyard, and you're going to summon out a copy of Wee Witch directly to your side of the field. After you summon the Wee Witch to your side of the field, you're going to link away 2 more tokens to your graveyard, and you're going to summon out a copy of Union Carrier, because it doesn't say it can't be tokens. It just says it can't be, or it doesn't say anything. It just says to be the same attribute, and they're the same attribute. So after you summon this, you're going to use the Union Carrier to target a copy of, or to equip a copy of your Kuriboh Reborn to your Wee Witch. Once you do that, you're going to have 1 Kuriboh token left. Link it away to the graveyard and summon out a copy of your, let me see, where is it? You're going to summon out a copy of Link Kuriboh. Because now you have a Link Kuriboh. Let me move this over, guys, so you can see it better. Once you have that Link Kuriboh right there, you're going to be able to have a Link Kuriboh, and then you take these 2 monsters. This is going to hit the graveyard, so it's live. And then these 2 are going to hit the graveyard as well. And then you're going to summon the true boss monster, which is Mekk-Knight Crusadia Avermax. Mekk-Knight Crusadia Avermax, you can sit on in a game and attack your opponent. And then if they attack into it, you can just drop the Link Kuriboh so they can't beat over it, which is really cool. And you just OTK them with Avermax or other cards in the deck until you draw Dystopia the Despondent or your other cards. But this is pretty much the main card in a simple combo of the deck. The deck has a lot of other combos that you'll learn as you play the deck, and it's just kind of like a lot of stuff for this deck. It's just kind of like, you wouldn't believe that it works as well as it does, but it does. It really, really does. And like all the people in DarkArmedAlliance will know, this deck is absolutely bonkers for that day I took it to locals. So anyways, guys, this is DarkArmedDuelist. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Definitely hit that bell in there so you can become part of the notification squad right down there. And definitely check out the Patreon because we have some awesome rewards for you guys. And I'll see you guys in the next video. See you around, guys.